We're in the thick of the conference, and sitting with me is Ian Harris, who runs Outcrop Silver. So let's get started on talking right away about the commodity. What's the energy here as you speak with investors, partners, about what you're up to?
Yeah, there's definitely a vibe in the air that there's some anticipation of some excitement. Obviously, the backdrop of commodities prices. I guess there's been a long-term kind of maybe disappointment to some of the bigger corporate players haven't been moving and helping the exploration, but we see there's movement going on there. So it is, I think, overall a spirit of we are preparing for something much bigger to come. So in that aspect, I think the energy, it's still very tough overall in the equity space, but there's an anticipation of things are going to be getting better very soon. And those that have lived through that in the past, it can happen very quickly.
So Outcrop, what are you up to, and how do you compare to other explorers in your area?
So the big one for us is that each commodity acts different, and silver, the overall silver space, for multiple reasons. We won't have the time to get into it, but large deficit and the rarity of primary silver projects. There's just not that many out there of quality projects. We're one of the few commodities that even as explorers, we do trade fairly closely to the commodity price. And because of that, that allows us there's excitement around the silver space because there's an anticipation of a potential silver run. So for us, what are we doing? We are currently drilling. We finished last year with multiple discoveries, which allows us to come into this year knowing where we're going to be expanding our resource. And that's a very nice position to be because we know where our growth is going to be coming from. So we are leveraged to knowing how we can increase our valuation based on accretive drilling and resource increase, and are highly leveraged to an anticipated silver price increase. So
what kind of grades have you reported so far to the market?
The Santa Ana project in Colombia is actually probably the highest undeveloped silver grade project in the world. So a lot of our discoveries are in the 1,000 gram per ton area. So they're very high grade, obviously a narrower veins, but that is the nature of the beast, and very common in Colombia. Some even the largest operating gold mines are in a very similar system.
Now, I don't know much about Colombia. However, I'm curious to understand what it's like doing business there and what kind of relationships you need to have with leadership in the country to run a sustainable business.
So I have got almost 30 years in the industry, of which 25 are working in South America.
Okay.
And I now live in Colombia, and I've been working there for over 8 years, and for the last 3 years I've been living there. And I was always surprised at how easy it is to do business, and it's got a very entrepreneurial spirit, strong banking system, etc. Now we have gone through, as a lot of South America, some regime changes that's left-leaning right now, but also in Colombia, and a lot of people don't know this, so we're very happy for the position we're currently in, being able to move forward, is that the next election cycle comes up in 14 months. So just 14 months away, we are back into elections in Colombia. But for me, living there, speaking Spanish, being fluent, the step one is not building support within your community, but building strong relationships within your community. Having very strong relationships is what carries you forward through multiple presidencies, right? These projects can take decades to truly build out sometimes. And that is what carries you forward and drives political will behind projects that we have. So that is, I've been a part of some of the larger builds in the world in South America. And for me, that is step one, building strong relationships. And that's what helps us be where we are today. For example, and I don't want to draw on too long, just to do our drill program of last year, we had over 100 land use agreements put into place in 1 year alone. And that's not done unless you have a very strong relationship, and they trust you. There's a trust been built up, and so we're very nicely positioned at Santa Ana because of that work.
Now, for our viewers, this is the first time that we've met, and I'm sure that we hopefully can do more. But for your existing shareholders who may be watching, as well as potentially new people who are watching, because we cover a spectrum of investors, what do you want them to know in terms of what could be coming up post PDAC? That's a major update for the company.
So we have a very solid news flow. We've had it for a long time. We've been really, and that will continue into 2025. I think what is most important is we know that we will be adding ounces to our books for much cheaper cost than ended value. We know where our valuation is based, so we know we can add ounces, and we're looking at starting that process of updating the resource estimate to be coming out at the beginning of next year. But we know what we're doing, we know where it's coming from, and that we executed on what we wanted to do last year, and we know that we'll be able to execute this year. So we know we can continue to create value for our shareholders while still being leveraged highly to silver price. So if silver runs, obviously we are highly as one of the very few very high grade true primary silver. 75% of our resource is silver. That leverages us, and that's one of the reasons we trade to a beta to silver price. So if silver runs, we'll run even more. If it doesn't run or takes some time, we're going to continue to create significant value for less than it costs to get us there.
Thank you for your time, Ian.
Welcome. Thank you.
OCG on the Venture Exchange. Make sure to learn more about the company. Thanks for watching.